This week I do have some updates because I tried a few different things with my planner and something new with my journal. And also I started using this pocket log because, as I mentioned last time, I needed a small notebook just for my budgeting, and I thought this one would be a great idea because it's lined and it's usually not something that I like to write in. So I thought this would be perfect as just a budget notebook because I will not be using it as often as the others. There's not a lot of writing in it, it's just putting in amounts. So yeah, I've been using it this way so far. I put here a few of my bullet points and some of my bookmarks. So far it's been working well, but I think I need to really research this specific system and see what works. It's something that I haven't done yet. I didn't put too much emphasis on budgeting yet, so it's something that I need to research and put some effort in it and try a few different things. But for now, I think for my needs, this is just fine. Like, I don't have too many specific needs in terms of budgeting, other than just some savings and some business expenses that I have to track. But that's about it for now. And I will be taking more time in the future to figure out a better system. And as I mentioned, I think last time, I did want to start doing the cash stuffing and like more serious budgeting. So I'll be looking into that for the future. So in my planner, I tried something different last week and I decided to continue with it this week. So I turned my horizontal Hobonichi weeks layout into a vertical one. And I have to say, it's been working for me so well. Even though using a planner kit was really helpful for me to create this structure, the horizontal layout just did not work for me. So it was a great idea to try the vertical one. And my planner kit still works because I'm able to cover the days as well. And I can still use it in a similar way. So I decided to use it for next week as well. It's been working really nicely, so I will need another week just to make sure that this is it. So I will be checking in next week to update you on this one, but so far I think this is it for the weeks. I'll just be using it as a vertical layout from now on, and probably for next year I'll be focusing on this kind of layout. I will not be purchasing the weeks again because my schedule sort of changed, and as I have more and more tasks to plan, I think that I will be needing a bigger planner. And of course, I'm considering the Hobonichi Cousin. I've decided that I do want to give it a try. It is kind of the perfect system, so I do want to try that. But I haven't made any decisions yet in terms of the layouts that I'll be using. But I still have to figure out a few things if I'm going to be using the Hobonichi Cousin. So last time I mentioned that I was doing some sort of simulation of the Hobonichi Cousin. And this one didn't really work for me because I had the weeks at the same time. So I did like a vertical layout here. I wasn't using it as much because, of course, I had the weeks and I did not want to neglect it too much. But I also tried the daily spreads, and again, unfortunately, it did not work for me. I was missing my style so much that I couldn't keep this one up. Perhaps I did too many changes too fast. Perhaps I could have tried to incorporate this style into this layout, which is something that I will be trying in the future. I think I sort of tried to do it here, but again, it didn't work out. I think because it was at the end of the day and I was so tired. But I tried to sort of blend the two layouts together, and it didn't work for me. I will not give up on this. I will figure it out because I have decided that I'll be going with the Hobonichi Cousin next year, of course. I think it was obvious from the beginning that I was going to go to that route, but it took me a while to accept that that's where I'm headed. And I have to say, it's been so hard to say goodbye to this. I still have a lot of pages to go, but I know that at some point I have to say goodbye, and it's so hard because it's been a year of using this in this specific style and this specific layout, and I've grown very attached to it and also very dependent on it. I think there's very specific reasons that I ended up with this style. Again, it took me a year to get to this style, and then another whole year of doing this every day. I don't know if I'll be able to say goodbye, honestly. I do have another Hobonichi plain notebook, so I could use that next year to perhaps keep this style on the side, but not daily. I'm still not sure. I don't really want to go into it because I just get a little bit overwhelmed and emotional because this is just so hard to say goodbye. And I'm really trying to incorporate it into a more Hobonichi cousin friendly style, but it hasn't worked for me yet. Perhaps it will work for me in the future, but for now I'm struggling a little bit. I still haven't made up my mind whether I'll be keeping this style or not, but I'm really trying to sort of combine the two because it does make sense for me planner wise to get the Hobonichi cousin. So I still have a lot of things to figure out. Thankfully, I have enough time to do that since it's only June, so I do have time to figure it out and to do some more experiments with this. The new thing that I've tried is to use the same color pen for my layout and for my text. I'm not sure if it's working. This is today's spread. I do enjoy it, and I do like the idea of having only one color for my text and layout. And I've decided to give it a try and see if it works. So far, I really like it. I don't like this one because I think these colors did not really fit, but this one I really love the color combinations and today's spread as well. So let me know what you think of that, because I don't know, I really enjoyed using different colors every day. But it's getting a little bit crazy. Like, I don't know if I can keep it up. I think I need even more consistency somehow. I don't know. It just came to me just suddenly when I created this spread here, I think, and this one. This one especially, I don't know. Something just clicked in my mind and I was like, what if I use the same color for the layout and text? Let's give that a try. Which is kind of a big change in this book, but I do like it so far. So I'm gonna keep it up and see if I get sick of it or if I miss the other colors, because some of them I really enjoy. I think the blue one I'm not crazy about, but the purples I loved. I really love the purple combination, and some of the greens, not all of them. I think, yeah, this one is my favorite in terms of greens and purples. This one is really great. I really love how these two spreads go together a lot. But I really liked this specific green. So let's see if I miss it. But for now, I really want to try this. It looks right. I don't know how to explain it. Some things just come to me and there's no escaping. It's like a compulsion, like as soon as the idea came to mind, I had to try it. I don't know. Let me know what you think, and let me know if you prefer the other colors or if this makes sense to just continue doing it like this. We will see. But for now, that is it for my journal. I wanted to talk about mindfulness a little bit because it's something that has really helped me in everyday life. And I feel that it's relevant to talk about because obviously mental health issues are always relevant, but I think it does relate to journaling and perhaps the reasons that I started journaling, and also planning, because I think planning is also part of mindfulness because it helps you to stop thinking about the future and start planning the future. So it's not in your head anymore, it's more on paper. So it helps you to relax and rely on your planner to give you that information instead of relying on your brain to think about the future all the time. So I do think that planning is also a great way to practice mindfulness. And of course, journaling has always been a number one practice when it comes to mindfulness, because you're literally in the moment when you're writing. Of course, you might think about the past or the future while you're writing, but it's such a meditative practice. You're in the moment, there's nothing else going on. You're thinking about what you want to write, and you're taking everything out. Everything just comes out of your brain and goes onto paper. So I definitely think that journaling could be one of the strongest ways and strongest methods of practicing mindfulness. But I also wanted to talk about some different ways that I practice mindfulness. I'm not sure if everybody knows what mindfulness is, so I think it's important to mention that as well. So basically, mindfulness is the practice of being fully present and engaged in the moment. So we do tend to stress a lot about the future or ruminate about the past. So by being in the present, you can really reduce that stress and that rumination that comes from thinking about the future or the past. So I think it's important that we all talk about it a lot more, and it's something that we really need to practice daily, because it can solve so many problems. And it's just, to me, it's a little bit crazy that I'm learning this in my 30s. So I really wanted to talk about it and share it with everybody, because I think it's so valuable. So another way that I practice mindfulness is by using my senses. The key here is to start observing your environment and just being more conscious about it, being perhaps hyper conscious of it. So looking at the colors, looking outside, looking at nature, observing every little thing that happens, but in a more conscious way. So you can try describing what you're looking at, what you're smelling, what you're hearing, what you're tasting, just using all of your senses to describe your environment and to come back to the present moment. Because in the moment you understand that you're there, you're very conscious of your existence in the moment. And when all of these thoughts and all of these observations fill up your mind, there's no space for thinking about the future or the past. So using your senses is very important. Another way is to use breathing as your anchor. So when you're feeling really overwhelmed, and I think this is obviously something that everybody knows by now, and it's connected to meditation as well. But when you're feeling really, really overwhelmed and you're not even able to pay attention in your surroundings, breathing and using that breathing exercise as your grounding to bring you back in the moment is honestly life-saving, and it can stop you from having a panic attack and just spiraling into this madness, from all of these thoughts. Just breathing in and out slowly and just focusing on that breath. Also, I think it's not enough to observe. I think we also need to appreciate. So take a moment to truly appreciate the things that you have. Don't focus on the things that you don't have or the things that you would love to have in the future. Just focus on what you have right now. And even having the basics, some people don't even have that. So to me, that idea just really brings me back to the present and helps me to truly appreciate everything that I have. And in that moment, when you realize that you have a lot, I think that can cultivate feelings of compassion, and that can lead you to giving a lot more, whether that is actual charity, just giving to the poor, or even just actions of compassion towards others, which might mean helping others with simple tasks or helping them emotionally and just being more emotionally available for other people. When you truly realize everything that you have and you appreciate that, you feel more complete. So you're able to give more. And lastly, another key component to mindfulness is acceptance. So as soon as you have awareness of how you feel, you need to accept and embrace those experiences and feelings without judging them. This is something that I learned very recently in therapy. And I used to do the opposite. I used to try to avoid my emotions and my feelings and also think of them as bad. So certain emotions I felt were not acceptable. So emotions like anger or resentment or jealousy, all of those quote unquote bad emotions are not really bad, and they're basically just emotions. We are humans and we will feel all of the emotions. So none of them are bad and none of them should be avoided. So taking a moment to focus on how you feel and how that feeling affects your body, but also accepting that emotion and not trying to push it away. What we need to control is our actions, not our emotions. It's normal and acceptable to feel anger or resentment or even hate. But whether you choose to act on it, that's something else. So acting upon those emotions, that's wrong. But feeling them is perfectly normal. And that is a huge part of mindfulness, because as soon as you're paying attention and you're aware of your emotions, you also want to accept them and show self-compassion. And that for me was really hard in the beginning, because in my mind it just felt wrong, that it's wrong to feel anger or it's wrong to feel resentment. But after learning these practices and these ways of reaching mindfulness and also to practice self-compassion, it has really changed the way that I see emotions and I perceive them, and also how I perceive myself. It helps you to stop hating yourself, stop blaming yourself for feeling specific things. And the last thing that I want to talk about is self-compassion, because I think that we can be really hard on ourselves sometimes. So practicing self-compassion is the ultimate way of showing yourself that it's okay to feel the way that you feel, that there is nothing wrong with you, that you're not broken. Nobody's broken. Nobody needs to be fixed. So showing yourself little acts of self-care can really help to fix that relationship. And the way to do that is, of course, little acts of self-care. That could mean treating yourself to your favorite snack, taking a break and doing something that you love. Journaling, I think, is also a way to show self-care, because you're taking the time to express your feelings and your thoughts, and you're giving yourself that time to do that. And just taking a moment to do something just for you, that doesn't have to be productive essentially, and it just has to be something that you enjoy, that you simply enjoy. There's nothing else to it. So by doing little things like that every single day, you start to create a much better relationship with yourself and a very friendly and loving environment. And the goal here is to feel secure and to feel that no matter how difficult life is, you will always have these moments, and you can trust yourself to make things better by doing these little acts of self-care and self-compassion. So yeah, let me know if you're practicing mindfulness and what is your favorite way to do that. And I really hope this helps you to create a better relationship with yourself, and also to reduce stress in everyday life, because let's be honest, we are very hard on ourselves. There's so much stress in everyday life and so much uncertainty in the future. So by practicing mindfulness, we can be in the moment and truly show love and compassion towards ourselves. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll see you in the next one.